Hey guys, welcome back to the Capital Mindset Show. Today we're going to be going over SOFI or revisiting SOFI, and wow, we got a lot to talk about here today. So SOFI is currently, let's actually take a look at the price action. It was down a little bit further, but it is down about 14.41%. It was actually down almost 18% more recently. It might go down more after this video. It might come up, it might bounce back up, but we're going to be revisiting the company. Now, what happened? Well, let's take a look at this news here. SOFI stock falls trading halted after fintech firm accidentally releases first quarter report. Okay, so not that good there. And so I took a look at it real quick. It's basically guidance. And, for those of you who, are newer to the channel, for those of you who are returning to the channel, you know what I'm about to say. It is, think about, what am I going to say? Liquidity crunch, right? So we've been talking about this for quite some time. Let's actually take a look back at the price and see what's kind of going on. We're also going to discuss briefly Upstart because I think Upstart needs a little bit of day in the sun here today. So let's take a look at the 1 year. So remember that video, and I got better at making content essentially. But we've been talking about the liquidity crunch since about November, and you can actually see here, it's actually beautiful if you actually overlay this. And we were actually talking about this at work the other day, how you see these stocks that are heavily exposed and the most susceptible to the liquidity crunch are the ones that almost perfectly delineate it when it occurs. So why in November did we begin talking about the liquidity crunch? Well, that's when the Federal Reserve started to speak on the potential actions they were going to take the following year, which is now. And by the way, that meme has aged beautifully. So take a look at the Office meme. It's actually on the Instagram page. And I was actually having a little bit of chit chat in the comments section with a subscriber, and they were talking about how the strongman personal finance versus financial education Lord of the Rings meme has aged really well because a lot of those stocks, the battle is still kind of ensuing. And actually go check those memes out. Those memes I think are funny if I say so myself. And sometimes YouTube is going to completely restrict those memes. So if they restrict me, they for sure show up on Instagram, where I'm a little bit more active in meme posting, and it's just for fun and entertainment. So if you guys like a little bit of a laugh, not so much seriousness all the time, some finance memes, some YouTube drama memes, you can find it there. Because I think the Office meme is hilarious now more than before, because now there's almost like that predictive aspect. If you actually pay attention to the character, financial education, it predicts his behavior almost. So it's like I can read him like a book in a sense. All right. So, but in all seriousness, SOFI actually perfectly mirrors that, and we'll actually see Upstart stock, which, here we go. Let's talk about Upstart. You can see Upstart stock, which I did cover in a live stream, and you guys can come to the live streams if you guys want to ask the hard-hitting questions. It's a good way for you to do so live. And so I've had in the past, some or always welcome, people who want to be critical or kind of ask these tough questions, do it in the live streams. That's a very good opportunity for you to do that. Or, sometimes I'll do live streams where I do preliminary analysis on particular stocks. That's where Upstart came in. So I did the live stream about a month-ish ago, and I remember it being much higher than it is now, but not nearly as high as it once was. And you can kind of see, again, it kind of perfectly mirrors since about November, you see that. But even if you take, for example, when I posted the dedicated video that is titled about it in January, right, where I got better at organization of content. And so let's say you saw that video, and then let's say you agreed with the premise of the video, and then you can see even then it's still down 63% since the posting of that video. So I've already covered that video again and again, and unfortunately there was actually a moment where because it was attached to the Office meme in the beginning, it was actually region locked. So some countries actually couldn't even see it, unfortunately, which is terrible because I thought the content that I did work hard on in that video for just a couple minutes of footage, people just couldn't even see it, right? So I wasn't able to provide value in that capacity. All right, so SOFI, let's actually see what I said in the past, and I'll actually show you guys the video right here. So Banking on SOFI Stock is the title of this video. It was published on April 7th, 2022. We'll hear some of the things I had to say. And so far, we're really good on time. We're hitting the 4-minute mark and already covered all this content. All right, let's see the risks, and then we'll close off this video. So the risks I see with SOFI is if we enter a market downturn of any capacity, if the student loan moratorium continues past the August 31st deadline, that would be very negative because, again, a lot of their growth seems to be coming from student loans. Taking a look into the near term or short to medium term future for SOFI, we would see that being a financial institution is going to be heavily tied to the overall health of the economy. If that health kind of declines, so will the prospects for this company. So you got to actually think about that before making an investment. Now, some of you might actually have different strategies or different prospects or different predictions as to where SoFi is going to go, I'd love to hear them down below and disagree. All right, that's pretty much it. But I go through this video. I'll summarize this video a little bit for you guys and kind of go through these comments. This is a highlighted comment. You know you're a high earner when you need your paycheck 2 days early, bro. Very fantastic comment. That kind of highlights the information I kind of outlaid in this video regarding the oh, and you know what? This deserves a heart. We're gonna get a heart live. All right, so that's because in this video, I do discuss that, SoFi, the thesis behind SoFi is, it's a company focused on the high income earner, but we broke down their products. So a lot of them was like a payday, early payday service. That's not something that really is geared towards high income earners, to be honest. So when we broke that down, I hope that made sense. And actually there's a comment that kind of aged like fine milk right here. So this guy has no idea what he's saying. And I said, this guy, so I correct him because there's not more than one of me. There's only, well, now I guess because it's an inception moment. So there's me in the past and me now, but this guy has no idea what he's saying. And I, said, this guy, I don't know how to respond to that without an actual point being made. So I think that kind of, maybe I did kind of know a little bit about what I was saying, but, regardless, that's a little bit enough patting on the back. Now, if you made it to this part of the video, which is a very short video thus far, I'm going to be doing a reaction video to a content creator who has posted on SoFi decently, I guess. And this is a smaller content creator, but almost close to the size of Capital Mindset. And Capital Mindset's a small channel. So this channel is growing very quickly. I think they started this year. You guys are probably already predicting who it is, but we'll see what they had to say and kind of react to it a little bit. All right, so this is the channel, Diamond Hands Investing. And so I'm just going to do a little quick reaction to this one, just because when I actually looked up SoFi stock, this video came up and I was like, oh, okay, this one's pretty interesting, I guess. So we'll see what this person has to say. And yeah.
The stock market is an unpredictable place. And if you watch SoFi stock, something happened today that you did not expect. SoFi was supposed to release their earnings after the close here on a Tuesday, May 10th, but instead their earnings got leaked early. The stock crashed as a result.
All right, so I hope she's referring to the surprise being the leak, not the fact that the stock is down. A lot of people would have probably identified this. A lot of other creators would have identified that this is kind of an avoid at the time it was. They don't even need to identify the liquidity crunch in order for that to be the case. Now, so if we kind of circumvent or go around this and kind of, just stick to the point that she made. Yeah, it is kind of weird that it got leaked, course, but yeah, I'm going to be skipping through this because of course we don't want to spend the full time just reacting to this video. You already have my thoughts on SoFi. This is just me kind of gathering some more thoughts. Now, just to be very clear, she has 2 dedicated videos to SoFi, one published on April 7, 2022, this one published today. If she were to ever delete, well, actually I think it's either April 6th or April 7th. If she were ever to delete that video, there's me talking about this now that she did do that video. In fact, maybe I'll actually just showcase the video or just show that it does exist. And then there's another video she posted a while before that where she talks about SoFi in conjunction with a couple other stocks. So I always like to do my research before I make a claim. And so there's the claim, and I will follow that up by evidence and research. So now, yeah, we'll see what kind of she has to say about the stock, but
and then trading was halted. In this video, I'm going to, after the 22 million, they also gave us guidance for the second quarter.
So guidance was down basically.
SoFi met analysts' expectations of a loss of 14 cents for EPS. And in terms of revenue, they actually had a huge beat. Only 286 million was expected, and they actually reported 322 million.
All right, so right there, it doesn't matter if they beat on revenue. You can't really pay shareholders with revenue growth. I mean, it matters to an extent, but you got to be very careful because the quality of the revenue actually matters. And so that's just a service level analysis right there. Now, let me see what she has to say further.
So a big beat on a revenue, EPS, and crushed expectations for revenue. Why is SoFi stock down?
Why?
Well, if we look a little deeper, what we'll see is that it comes down to the future guidance.
I mean, that's not really looking deeper. That's just looking at an article. But yeah, guidance is very important, but you have to pay attention to the quality of the revenues. And yeah, there's a lot more than just looking at revenue growth. Revenue growth is not really where that's where it starts. That's a start point, okay? And so again, if you see this video, consider it, constructive criticism on this part. I know that you're a data analyst or whatever from an Ivy League or whatever. So, you're probably potentially, hopefully capable of further learning and I guess exploring this field, so to speak. And so Yeah. Oh, and by the way, it's kind of side comment. If you guys are an accounting student in university, make sure your university is teaching you data analytics. Data analytics is actually coming very pivotal for the accounting field. At least, for example, you look at big four accounting firms. That's kind of your goal to get into one. You have to more or less try to have some sort of experience. It really does help in the popular data analytics platforms and understand how to kind of maneuver data. So accountants in the modern day are actually being expected to be data analysts as well as accountants. You got to be kind of both. And I actually do know that the big four are actually going into requiring some degree of programming knowledge within Python. Python, don't be intimidated by it. It's a lot easier than you think. If you're really good at Excel, you're going to be good at Python. It's a lot of pre-established rules. It's not like C++, so you don't have to really know C++. But Python is going to be over time going to become like a necessity in these firms, or at least understanding what it is you're working with when you're looking at code in Python. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say briefly on that front. Because it just reminded me, because this person's a data analyst or whatever.
SOFI also gave guidance for the second quarter, which was revenue between 330 and 340 million. Now, this fell below what analysts with the revenue, but
I just got a notification for something, so that's why I said it was funny. That notification is unrelated to this. It has to do with ConocoPhillips, but
forecast for earnings before interest, tax, amortization, depreciation of 100 to the channel videos. So let's start with SOFI's income statement. We're profitable, and you're going to grow all 3%, very, very strong.
Sorry, guys.
In terms of SOFI's balance sheet, cash and cash equivalents is about 400 rolled. With this stock, it's difficult to look at a price to earnings.
I know she said at some point, I just kind of edited it out, but she said at some point that like there's a lot of red on the income statement. And it's like, yeah, there's a lot of red, and not necessarily net income being red or negative is necessarily a bad thing. It's kind of a generalization. It can work a lot of the times, but not all of the times. You gotta be careful. Investing is very nuanced. And taking a look at the, she's going over multiples. This ought to be good.
Ratio, because they are not yet profitable, which is a major risk for this company. But if we do look at these price to sales metrics, you can see how dramatically this valuation has come down. Back in June of 2021, SOFI stock was trading at almost 14 times sales, which declined to 10.
Doesn't matter. Price to sales is not even a metric. It's a comparative metric. It is a comparative metric. I know that there are some creators who say that it's not. It's a valuation metric. No, it's a comparative metric. That's all I have to say.
Which declined to 9 to 6, and then here today, all the way down to 4 times sales. And we know that SOFI stock has had strong growth in the past, and for 2022 is expected to grow about 43%. But what you may not know is that SOFI's revenue growth is expected to stay strong.
Does not matter. Quality of revenue is far more important, especially in the finance industry. The finance industry is extremely important to look at the quality of revenue, quality of customers, etc. That is why Citigroup will always trade at a quote-unquote discount, because the quality of the revenues aren't as good as something like JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. So yes, you cannot look at the surface and look at revenue growth. It's almost, and constructive criticism, this is almost as if you learned from a particular YouTuber that has made it very large channel. Revenue growth is just the beginning.
For the coming years. In 2023, analysts expect just under 50% growth, and then continued strong growth in the coming years, about 30% in 2024 and about 18 or 19% in 2025 and 2026. So very, very strong revenue growth for SOFI. But remember, everybody knows that SOFI has strong revenue growth. What's really in question is when it will become profitable. So if we look down on this page, you can see that their net income is going to turn positive in 2024. This corresponds to EPS of about 12 cents in 2024, which will then be expected to increase to about 37 cents and then 60 cents in 2026. Again, this would be when they have this increasing free cash flow, which we can see it down below. Gross margins looking to be relatively stable. It looks like analysts are expecting a slight increase. I think this as a potential price target by
Wait, what? Oh, I didn't see this.
2026. And 12 stock at $18. Growth expected all the way through. Instead, multiply by a price to sales or price to earnings ratio of 30, which I think would also be fair given that they have 20 to 30% growth expected all the way through 2026. This would then put the stock at $18. Okay, so I'm thinking somewhere in the range of $12 to $18 as a potential price target by 2026.
I mean, that is a huge range. Okay, that is a massive range, because you're giving a price target. So the range. I mean, think about it in terms of percentages. For those of you who are kind of newer to all this stuff, I know it sounds like it's not that much. So $12 to $18, right? That's $6. You're like, oh, it's just $6. It's like, no. So that's percentage. So from $12, you take the low end, and then a 50% increase from there is like the high end. So it's a massive range there. So basically, that's like putting like a confidence interval of like 99%. You like widen the range. So like the range is going to be wider in that. But yeah, okay. So that's pretty much covering the update on SOFI. So we talked about Upstart, we talked about SOFI. We did a little mini reaction video, and it's not like a huge reaction video, but I thought it would be necessary to do so. And I'll kind of close off with actually going over the other video. Sorry about that. That was like a play or something. Let's see where it is. So there was, let me show you guys here. Where is it? I'm trying to find it. There it is. All right, so there's this one that was posted. So April 6th, 2022. And I'll show you guys the next one, and then we'll be done with it. We shall finish off this video. And then this one's the one that I said that was dedicated, not dedicated, but with other ones, February 13th, 2022. So those are all the times that they were mentioned. And that's pretty much it. That concludes this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.